FakeTV Box is a recorded production of KlicKNet from mykwame.com studios at 144 Studios, New York City. Additional help provided by Adobe, supporting all with limitless creativity in graphics, illustration, and videography. The innovative world of Apple, Shure apps and products for audio functions, and by contributions to this YouTube channel from KlicKNettars like you. Thank you. Hi KlicKNettars, welcome to FakeTV Box. I'm Kwame Alexander. You just walked into the show that spends as many minutes as it takes to unbox the whack jobs and hot messes in the world today. Well, I have some bad news and some good news. The bad news is that today's episode is all about war. But the good news is that we're not going to be talking about the Iran war, which was started by President Orange Thanos. That's what late night television is for. Instead, we're going to be talking about the war for Warner Bros. Discovery that ended, and this is true, just hours before the war in Iran got started. And it has led to stories like this.
More than 1,000 Hollywood creatives have signed an open letter opposing Paramount's pending merger with Warner Bros. Discovery. That open letter says, in part, the sale would, quote, prioritize the interests of a small group of powerful stakeholders over the broader public good. Going on to say, quote, media consolidation has already weakened one of America's most vital global industries. It was signed by Hollywood heavyweights, including Joaquin Phoenix, Kristen Stewart, and David Fincher.
Wait, hold on. I'm just getting word here. Wait, are you sure? That's a really high number. Yeah, okay. Breaking news just coming in now on FakeTV Box. The number of people who have signed that open letter to block the Paramount Warner Bros. Deal has jumped from 1,000 to 2,000. Well, maybe... What's that? Well, now the numbers jumped to 3,000. What? And now 4,000. Okay. Wait, hold on. And now 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, and so on and so on. I get it. It's worth discussing how we got to this point in the war for Warner Brothers. To any KlicKNettars who didn't see our last episode about Warner Bros. Discovery, we mentioned how the company had three choices, which were A, they should split, B, they should sell, or C, they should split and sell. And for about 2 months, it looked like the answer was going to be C, they should split and sell.
Netflix is announcing a definitive agreement to buy Warner Bros. In a multi-billion-dollar deal. The streaming giant says this, quote, brings together two pioneering entertainment businesses, combining Netflix's innovation with Warner Bros.' century-long legacy of world-class storytelling.
Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos announcing that the streamer will buy Warner Bros. Studios, HBO Max, and HBO, in a deal valued at nearly $83 billion.
This is something that could affect hundreds of millions of television viewers all around the world, because everybody now is a streamer in one way or another, and most people are glued to Netflix already. HBO Max, one of the other big streaming platforms, would be coming together with Netflix if this deal is consummated.
True story. We had plans to do an episode talking about Netflix's $87 billion deal for Warner Brothers. In fact, I would have been more comfortable talking about Netflix being in prime position to acquire the studios and streaming assets, which include HBO Max. HBO Max, the one to watch for despite most of its Cartoon Network shows now living on Tubi. I also would have been more comfortable talking about how the Netflix deal was going to allow WBD cable networks to do their own thing in a new company called Discovery Global. Heck, I wouldn't even mind talking about a potential Harry Potter K-pop Demon Hunters crossover for 20 minutes straight. Oh, and get this. Warner Bros. Discovery themselves mailed this postcard to our studio telling us to vote for the merger of Warner Bros. Netflix. I mean, it's kind of appropriate that they would put Superman on the postcard because he would certainly make a great salesman. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's salesman! How weird is it that we're filming this on National Superhero Day? Oh, and that's not all, because we also got this book in the mail explaining the entire merger of Warner Bros. Netflix. And you know, reading this from beginning to end further increases my disappointment that I'm not talking about a Harry Potter K-pop Demon Hunters crossover for 20 minutes straight right now. Oh, man. Just imagine the jokes we could have made from this book. The shocking thing of all is that Warner Bros. Discovery had us all believing it was happy with the Netflix deal. But reports in February indicated that the company was considering an updated bid from Paramount, which they called superior to Netflix's current offer, and this triggered a 4-business day period for Netflix to match the offer from Paramount. To be honest, I thought this was going to be like the bidding war for 21st Century Fox back in 2019 when Disney and Comcast were fighting for the studio that barely did a good job on the X-Men and Fantastic Four. Disney's first offer to buy Fox was for $52 billion. Then Comcast made a counterproposal for over $60 billion, which led to Disney outbidding Comcast with $72 billion. I'm sure some of you were expecting Netflix to try and outbid, but that wasn't the case at all.
Netflix has dropped its $83 billion bid for Warner Bros. Discovery. The entertainment giant says, quote, "The deal is no longer financially attractive." Now, this is significant because the move clears the way for Paramount's Skydance. It's a merger that could shake up the entire media industry.
Warner Brothers agreed to a nearly $83 billion deal with Netflix back in December, initially rejecting a bid from Paramount's Skydance. But earlier this week, after multiple attempts, Paramount raised its offer to $31 a share, all cash, upping the bid's value to about $111 billion.
How can you blame Netflix for saying the deal is no longer financially attractive? Better still, how can you outbid Paramount, whose deal to acquire all of Warner Bros. Discovery is over $110 billion. That's $38 billion more than what Disney paid to get Fox. And it shows how much Paramount wants Warner Bros. Or should I say how much Paramount CEO David Ellison wants Warner Bros., knowing that he's in the back pocket of President Orange Thanos. Oh! Of course, it's not just Netflix who's upset. The Writers Guild of America, who recently agreed to a new 4-year deal with the Hollywood studios, has gone on record expressing how much they hate the merger of Warner Bros. And Paramount, for it will be bad for everyone who is working in the film and TV business. Hence the open letter that has over 4,000 signatures and counting. Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, I forgot, it's 8,000. Wait, what? What's that? 9,000? 10,000? Everybody hates the merger. What does a Paramount WB merger mean to the future of the entertainment landscape? It's like we're all standing on top of a cliff, and things are not going to be pretty when we get to the bottom. When Netflix made its offer to buy just the studios and streaming divisions of Warner Brothers, people were worried it would affect theatrical film distributions as Netflix barely premieres its movies in theaters. Of course, now that Paramount has obtained all of WBD, those worries just got even worse. And don't you get me started on what this new merger means for cable TV and IP brands. You're gonna have CNN and CBS News under the same roof, which according to Jake Tapper,
affects everybody I'm looking at right now in the studio.
Yeah, he already said that on air. He's a crazy man. You're gonna have also TNT Sports and CBS Sports possibly broadcasting the same games in their own megacast that won't be as good as the one Disney and ESPN do. You're definitely gonna have Paramount Plus and HBO Max merging into one streaming service. And you know what that means? It means another title change is on the way. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Paramount Max Plus. Yeah, that just came at the top of my head. And last but not least, you're gonna have longtime rivals, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, having to share a kid's bedroom together. That last one stinks because I can never choose between two childhood friends I grew up watching and are the main reasons for everything I do on YouTube. I can't. Overall, I never thought I would see a day when Paramount and Warner Brothers joined forces, especially under these circumstances. But it is what it is. I should also point out that there was a recent vote in favor of the sale to Paramount by Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders. But to be fair, there's still a long way to go before we're introduced to a Batman vs. SpongeBob crossover. Both companies have until September 30th this year to close the deal, which has to get through a bunch of antitrust laws and the many different groups who might be able to stop it. There's state attorney generals who can sue and win. There's Hollywood unions who can sue and win. There's Europeans who can sue and win. There's a private plaintiff who can sue and win. There's Democrats if they win the House and the Senate in the midterms. There's Middle East investors if they choose to pull funding. And believe it or not, Paramount can choose to stop the deal if it's caught in the middle of a litigation, like if David Ellison was found guilty of sexually harassing Dora the Explorer. Hey. David, no smooching. David, no smooching. David, no smooching. You leave Dora alone. Get. Oh, man. With all that being said, let's end this episode the same way we started, with a little bad news and good news. The bad news is, we can't save The Late Show with Stephen Colbert from cancellation because Paramount says it's too expensive to keep on the air, even though they're willing to fork up $110 billion for Warner Bros. Discovery. But the good news is, the fight that brought the Batman vs. SpongeBob crossover still rages on. That's your show. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button so therefore you always know when to get new content on KlicKNet. Follow us on social media through Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, and the site formerly known as Twitter. Also, please consider making a donation to support KlicKNet Productions' independent short film project, Wkly, New York. To do so, click on the GoFundMe link located in the description box of this episode. And I'll see you next time on FakeTV Box with Kwame Alexander.